Like, I just find it, I would say the last few hours, it just seems like, in the comment section, they have been going in, right? All because this dude is saying that we shouldn't make white people feel bad. Now, I don't watch my videos back, but I never said that, yeah, people should go out there and just start making random white people feel bad. Because even some of those, I don't know who these TikTokers are, because I'm not on TikTok. But, like, some of them have been saying some, like, extreme stuff. Like, whatever homegirl was saying, like, if you have a white friend that they shouldn't, they have to ask for permission and all this other stuff. And I'm just sitting up there like, yeah, that's extreme. The chick with the gold head scarf, she was saying how, like, a TV is a necessity. I was like, yeah, no, it's not a necessity. But everything else she said wasn't a lie. Everything else, for the most part, wasn't a lie. Now, I was watching somebody react to that same video. It's a black guy. And he was just jumping up out of his seat talking about, like, Charlie, I think that's his name. He was like, oh yeah, preach, brother, and all this other stuff. But when it came to the Asian girl in that mirror, he was dead silent. Because there was nothing he could say about what she said. Because everything she was saying was basically true. But he just was silent throughout that part. But everything else, he jumping out of his seat, just basically doing this performance. Just acting like a clown. And just basically co-signing everything dude said. Now, I think from one of the posts that Charlie had in his video was from the New York Post, who was owned by Richard Murdoch, who owns Fox News. And everybody is like I don't know, like he's basically cherry picking these statistics or whatever he had in these articles. But like I said in the video that he talked about the Asian culture, I said, how come everybody says that the news is fake, but they believe every negative stereotype about black people that comes out of the media? But the media is supposed to be fake. So which one is it? It's like you rather believe the media or not. So I just find it ridiculous how you got so many people talking about, like, I don't like, I mean, I glanced through the comments, but I didn't read it, because one dude was saying how I'm using something personal about myself or personal anecdotes or something. It was something like that. But then he started talking about how his son is being bullied for being called a gringo. So aren't you using some personal story, dude? So why are you sitting up there like, oh, you shouldn't use anything personal, but I'm going to use something personal to validate my argument? It's like I said, it's completely ridiculous. I'm just dead serious. Like, okay, here's the question. I want something bad to happen to everybody in the comment section. I'm looking at everybody in the comment section. I'm looking at y'all motherfuckers. I want something bad to happen to each and every one of you. If it does, don't call the police. Because if you do, you're making the criminal feel bad. It's just that simple. Because you can't seriously excuse, just the overt oppression that black people felt and had done to us for all these generations. They've colonized not just only Africa and other black people and other black nations, but every Asian country has been dominated by white supremacy all around the globe, and just straight up destroyed, people's lands, carved up their countries. But just for criticizing it is the same equal oppression, that it absolutely makes no sense. And to seriously sit up there and act like I'm the one that, like, like, oh, these are bad. I hate when people say takes. Like, oh, these are bad takes and everything. It's like, seriously? Like, I don't know if you ever looked at the history. Like, yes, you shouldn't be racist to other people, but just for saying something or bringing it up is the equivalent of what has happened to everybody else globally throughout the centuries. Like I said, it really doesn't make sense. And like I said, if that's the case, then if something happens to you, don't cry to the police, because you'll literally be making a criminal feel bad. They gotta get arrested. They may have to post bail. Their families are going to get affected. You know, they're going to have to go through trial, put on a suit and tie, talk to the judge, like, why did you do this to somebody? And like, oh, because I don't know. And it's like, okay, you got sentenced to X amount of years. You're making the criminal feel bad. They don't want to have to go through all that, if that's the argument. You know, I'm not saying people should just go out and harm people, but it's like, if something were to happen to you, I mean, damn. I just don't, it's just ridiculous. And it was just like this dude, he was on the left, his what is his name? His YouTube channel is Telltale or something. And he was getting on Umar Johnson about his interview on the Breakfast Club. Now, Umar is an extreme dude. I even talk about him like he wants everything to be black. Everything black, black, black. He wants his water black. He wants his milk black. Everything, the walls are black. Everything is black. And he's trying to make this school. Now, given how the school system has treated black people, even to this day with what's going on in Florida, are you seriously sitting up there saying like, oh, Umar's bad for feeling the way he feels after he sees like people that look like him, you know, be mistreated in the school system? So he's like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going to just try to come up with my own school. Now, despite how people may feel about how he's going about making a school, or he's not really doing nothing regardless, I mean, it's not that's like a separate issue. But the fact is that he's like the separatist. But given how white people have treated people through the years, I don't besmirch the brother for trying to do that in the first place. It's like, yeah, some of his ideas are extreme, but even in the extreme, it's like, I don't see, sometimes I don't see the real issue behind it. Now, I mean, of course, he's just like, I don't know, he got problems with the LGBT and all this other stuff, but I'm just talking about like the school itself and trying to do stuff for black people as a whole. You can't seriously say like he's wrong, given the situation that he sees black people in. And who's the one that's been doing this to us as a collective? Not saying every white person is bad, but you have to call it out though. And but according to Charlie's video, it's like calling it out is wrong because we're making them feel bad. I mean, and just not just looking at it like, yeah, you know, okay, you do some fucked up shit. You just say, oh, you see, and this is the problem with this is the problem. People don't want to admit when they're wrong. It's like everything has to be their way or the highway. Nobody wants to basically admit defeat. Just be like, okay, I was wrong, my bad. It's just always the, oh, but what about this? What about that? But this happened, so what about this? It's just like I really don't. People just want to concede to the argument and just be like, yeah, I you know, my bad. Or I could see at least. I may not agree 100%, but I could see where you're coming from. Like the dude in the video, Owen. he's talking about stuff that he doesn't know, assuming Charlemagne was a rapper. Like all black people are not rappers. Just assuming that he was a rapper, saying stuff like that he doesn't know about. He doesn't know anything about the black community because he's not part of the world. He's not in our culture, but he's sitting up there just. I don't know why he made this video, but it's like, you can't just say, okay, I may not agree with everything he's saying, but I could see why he's saying it. You see what I'm saying? But like, this Charlie dude is just on some like, he's like a white apologist. Like, like I said, I don't know what Asian culture he's from, whether he's Korean, Japanese, Cambodia, Chinese, or whatever. But white supremacists had their hand in shaping up their country one way or another, good and bad. But to seriously sit up there and act like we shouldn't make them feel, I mean, like I said, you got the history of straight up nuking 2 cities in Japan. You got how Britain colonized China. You got slavery. You got all the, just basically all the atrocities in the world. You got King Leopold in Africa. I can't remember, was it the Congo, I think. You got all these atrocities. But just calling it out is the same thing. Like I said, if something were to happen to people, and just don't take this like, oh yeah, like let me preface this, even though I shouldn't, because it's just like whatever. But it's just like, I'm not saying that something should happen to you, but if something were to happen to you though, don't call the police. Don't complain to nobody about somebody did something to you. Just don't, because like I said, you be making the criminal feel bad, and we can't have the criminal feel bad. For what reason? I don't know. We just can't make the criminal feel bad. It's like I said, this is ridiculous. But I mean, it's like, truth be told, with the comment section, it's just like all this does is confirm what I already felt about the internet and social media, period. That's all it confirmed. And it's just like, it just is, to me, it just is what it is. I mean, because people were commenting like I actually give a fuck about it. Like, I don't care. You see what I'm saying? This is basically how I get down. The notifications pop up, I see it, because I'm trying to look at other videos or other notifications, and I basically just like skim through what the comment section is. I don't even go into the comment section, but I'm just like, oh, somebody's saying this, that, and the other, and I just move on, because like, I don't care, because it's just like all these folks in the comment section are just random nutsacks somewhere saying this stuff, but wouldn't say it to my face. So you want to say it in the privacy of your own home, being safe, and just there's no consequences behind it. You see what I'm saying? That's why, me personally, that whole Chris Rock, like Will Smith slapping Chris Rock, I wasn't against Will for doing that. It's like, the only thing that I like disagreed with or didn't like was the fact that it was Chris Rock though. Like, if it was some other like comedian that like nobody cared or knew about, then it's like whatever. But it was the fact that it was Chris. It's like, damn, why you gotta slap Chris? But I see, like, you can't keep talking shit and just thinking nothing's gonna happen to you. But when they catch you in the streets, then it's like, oh my God, there's consequences behind what I'm saying. So that's why I felt like, hey, like I said, you just wouldn't say all the stuff in the comment section. You wouldn't say that shit to my face, because you know for a fact what would happen to you. Because first of all, I don't play games, number one. But everybody's gonna be like, oh, saying this, that, and the other. Like I said, you could say, and it looks pathetic at that. Like you could say that in the comment section, like you live, I don't know, in Butt Crack, Iowa somewhere. You're not gonna travel to where I'm at to say it to my face. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna say this. I'm not gonna face no consequences. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like it just is what it is. So that's why I don't take this serious. But it's just so ridiculous that people can't see or understand where other people may be coming from in the regard of like we should make white people feel bad. Like I said, like I'm not going to sit up there and like have a white friend and just be like, oh, I'm going to make you feel bad because what your ancestors did, or like if I have a white friend and I got like other people of color, like they gotta ask permission. Like I said, that's too extreme. Like if we just cool and we kick it, everybody's cool. Like it doesn't have to be like this weird thing. But if you're friends with me and you kind of feel some type of way, like, oh, you should make me feel bad, it's kind of like, dude, like I really don't. It's like I get it. And then it was like one comment said like, oh, you're not understanding or something like that. Look, I hear exactly what he's saying. But it's crazy to sit up there and act like we gotta coddle people for how they've gotten down in history. But just mentioning it or talking about how bad it was or how the history of the United States is and who were the perpetrators in this history, oh, we shouldn't do it because we're making them feel bad. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just 100% ridiculous. I mean, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. But I mean, it's just the dog piling is going to keep coming. People going to say what they say. And it just, truth be told, it just is what it is. Because, like, what am I supposed to do? Like I said, everybody in the comment section, like, I'm not trying to besmirch people, like, or say this, but I mean, just everybody is just like, they could be, I don't want to say they're bots, but like I said, they're just faceless nutsacks. They're not going to say the shit to my face like, oh, you was wrong, or you this and you that, and all this other stuff. So it's just like, it is what it is. It just is what it is. But I'm not going to take the video down. I'm not going to do shit about it. I'm going to just let it up and just let it be up and just let it rock out. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, it just confirms my beliefs and how I already feel about social media. Cause I just feel like social media is one of the worst things that could have ever happened in human history. I mean, you got people, like I said, it's all this is, like I said, the internet is high school. Especially when the internet came up, like I would say, just ever since social media showed up, the internet turned into one big high school. And you got your cliques. And you got your cliques, you got your groups. You can't deviate from these groups because then you'll be ostracized. You could agree with 99% of the group. One thing you disagree with, you already ostracized. Social media is basically like peer pressure because you see stuff or hear stuff and it makes you feel bad. I mean, you got like little girls like trying to commit suicide because of Instagram. You got all the stuff that we hear about the internet. And I mean, like the social media, really. So, like I said, you got grown men, or just grown people, period. Like at least like over whatever. Like, I don't know how people feel about who's like whatever. But You got people literally acting like everybody's like 15. Everybody's in high school. And I'm going to make fun of you. And I'm going to make fun of you. You this, you that, and the other. The only difference is that you can't meet somebody at 3 o'clock outside to touch them up. You see what I'm saying? It was just like Mike Tyson. It was just like the dude in the airplane was sitting up there just like, I don't know what he was doing. He was making fun of Mike Tyson or interrogating or like antagonizing him. And you know, Mike Tyson has changed over the years. He's not what everybody think he was in his prime. But dude kept talking shit, so Mike had to touch him up. And I 100% agree with that, because this dude is sitting up there acting like he's still on the internet. Like, you can't do or say what you say on the internet in real life, because there's real world consequences. Once you get into the real world, there is no protection. You can't seriously be in your house and just be like, oh, I'm going to just say this, that, and the other. And then you get out into the real world. And then it's like, well, how come I'm facing consequences? Like, bitch, you stepped outside. So, like I said, I don't, Mike Tyson, it's like he did what he had to do. You see what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. But like I said, it's just all peer pressure. Like, you see somebody doing something on social media. Here's where the peer pressure comes in. You see somebody on social media doing something, and you want to do it too, or be like that person. But they don't tell you how they got it or how they obtained it or whatever. So it's just like we'll say, like, I'm going to give you a prime example. It's just like the Liver King. Same thing with the Liver King. He's talking about he eats bull testicles, and he wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning and sucks the bone marrow right out of the bone while the person is still living. And yeah, I'm all jacked up, bro, and this is how I get down. And then so somebody will look at that and be like, well, I want to do that too, because he got peer pressured into doing it, because the Liver King made it seem so easy. It's like, oh yeah, I did all this. And then you try to do it. You don't end up looking like the Liver King and be like, oh, how come I feel so bad? I don't look like the Liver King. But then come to find out, he was doing human growth hormones. So, and now you're like, damn, is that how I gotta get down? So you sat up there and followed this nutsack that sit up there and cheated through his life and then try to act like he did it naturally. It's bullshit. That's why I don't look at these folks like all these stupid assholes like Andrew Tate and all these other weirdos. I mean, sitting up there spending, how much they were spending, like $5,000 to go to some war room. And then when they lose the fight, they get berated and make them feel even lesser of a man, I guess they're trying to be. And then they might end up doing something because they feel so bad. They got peer pressured, and you know, they facing depression because they didn't live up to some phony ideal that this dude created for himself and made it seem like anybody could do it. It's just bullshit. Like, people seriously need to stop that shit. And it's like, that's one of the reasons why I don't take this shit serious. I just look at them, laugh, and just keep doing what I'm doing. Because, like I said, it's peer pressure. I told you, the internet is high school. Social media is peer pressure. And if people can't see that shit, then I don't know what to say. Just like this whole thing. The video I made about we shouldn't make white people feel bad. Like, if you can't see, like, just why people will feel the way they feel, because rather you're white or you some white apologist or something, like the black dude I was mentioning about, he's performing all in the video, talking about who he ain't lying though, and preaching all this other shit. Like, okay, come on, dude. Like I said, like the Asian girl in the mirror, like, how come you were so quiet, brother? Because you couldn't make an argument about that, because you've heard from your family members or in school through history or whatever, you heard what happened to our folks in slavery. So to turn around and say that Asian girl was wrong would look ridiculous. So that's why he didn't say nothing. So I'm just like, it just is what it is. I'm not letting this affect me, because like I said, like, who are you? Like on some real shit. Like I said, you're not gonna come to where I'm at and seriously say like, oh, you're this to my face. Because like I said, you know exactly what will happen to you. So I'm just not gonna, I'm just like, whatever. You see what I'm saying? It just is what it is. And you know what? I'm gonna say it like this. Like, if there's a woman and she's constantly, something's constantly happening to her in relationships. Now, whatever that is, I mean, you make your own conclusion. But then I come to her and be like, you know what? I'm not like that. But she's been in constant relationships where, like I said, she's been attacked, abused, or whatever by men. And like I said, I come around and be like, you know what? I'm not like that. But she's like, I can't trust men because of what I've been through. I'm not going to sit up there and invalidate what she said and be like, be all mad and start berating her, because I'm not like that. The only thing I could do is just be like, I see where you're coming from. And that it just is what it is. Now, if the only thing I could do, like, I'm not going to sit up there and try to change her mind. The only thing I could do is show, like, by action, and be like, just live my life. And if she comes to the conclusion, like, oh, he's not like that, he treats people, nice and fair and everything, and then she comes around, then it just is what it is. But if she's still like, feeling like, oh, I can't trust men because of what I went through, the only thing I can say is just, I get it. I understand. And just, keep it pushing. Now, if she wants to be friends or whatever the case is, and not be in a, like, physical relationship with me, then it would just be like, okay, cool. Like I said, I will understand. I get it. But I'm not going to sit up there and be like, you're wrong, because I'm not like that. You see what I'm saying? Like it was this girl that I met back in 2016. And she's Native American. And we got on the topic about Christopher Columbus. And so she was like, I don't like Columbus Day. And I was like, like, kind of just inquiring, just like, why? And she was like, oh, because of, the history about Native Americans and everything. And she doesn't like Christopher Columbus. She even said it. This was back in 2016. She said she don't like white people because of that reason. And so I'm sitting up there like, damn. Like, I mean, like, I could see where she's coming from. Because of the history about how Native Americans was treated in this country. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're wrong and you shouldn't feel this way. And then, mind you, that people don't know, my uncle, through marriage, is white. So I'm not going to sit up there and just be like, oh, you wrong because my uncle is a white guy. I'm going to just be like, she feels the way she feels. I kind of just met her. I'm not going to just berate her and be like, oh, you wrong, blah, 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 blah. It's just like, what can I say? You see what I'm saying? So, just, I mean, all these people, how they feel, like in those TikTok videos, they feel some type of way. That's exactly how they feeling. Hey, I mean, it's like I said, plus given the history of this country and around the world, like I said, I don't see anything wrong for what, like they said, except for like the chick talking about the white shenanigans And then she was saying something about like your white friend gotta ask for permission. The other chick that was talking about TVs are a necessity and all this other stuff. And then there was another chick, I think it was a woman, and it was after the chick that talked about you gotta ask permission from your friends. Like, I think what they said was kind of crazy. But I mean, it's just like I said, if you can't see why people feel this type of way, then I don't know. And then making the video that dude made, it just looked crazy. It just looked crazy. But and then the comment section talking about my own personal shit, but then putting in the comments about your son. Like, you don't see that you're saying a personal anecdote about what your son went through, but getting on me. See, this is the thing I hate. It's like people be saying like you're wrong for doing X, Y, Z, but then turn around and do the exact same thing. But then since it's them, they don't find a problem with it. Like I said, it's ridiculous. And the whole thing I just said about social media is crazy. But like I said, it is what it is. Now, people gonna be in the comment section probably still going on and just still not, conceding and just keep going on and on about this situation. Like I said, if I meet a woman and she has these type of issues with men, I'm just not going to sit up there and say she's wrong about it. They'll be like, that happened to her. I can see where she's coming from. I'm not like that, but I'm going to just keep living my life. Like with the girl I was talking about in 2016. I'm like, given the history, I could see why she feels that way. But it's just like, I mean, what could I say? Like, she already had these beliefs ingrained into her. Given the history, she's not wrong. So I'm just like, yeah. And like I said, my uncle through marriage is white. And she's saying this. And I'm like, you see what I'm saying? Like I'm seeing this dude at the time damn near every day. And I'm like, he didn't do anything to anybody. He didn't colonize nobody's land. But here's this Indian girl, like a Native American girl, saying what she's saying. It was just like, I'm not going to fight on it because I see why she feels the way she feels. I'm just like, yeah. But we can't make white people feel bad. Now, I'm not going to go to my uncle and just make him feel bad about some other stuff. But given the history, and if we see some shit, all he could say is like, I'm not like that. And we could, but that goes without saying. Yeah, we know you're not like that. But given the history, people that look like you have been doing some fucked up shit and calling you out on it. Not him personally, but calling out white people for doing X, Y, and Z. That's the equivalent of the same oppression that they have done to everybody else. Like, it's just ridiculous. And to sit up there and co-sign that is wild. It's wild. But like I said, it just is what it is. It just is what it is.